Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. So today's episode comes to you courtesy of Evan, who's been supporting this channel as a general tier patron. I truly couldn't do this without the support from amazing patrons like Evan, so again, Evan, thank you so much. And for the personalized deck tech, Evan chose Adeliz the Cinder Wind, hoping to really flip the script on what is expected out of these colors. Adeliz is a 2/2 human wizard with flying and haste that costs 1 blue-red. She has whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, wizards you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So we've got some aggressive wizards that actually want to get their hands dirty in combat. They're not going to be sitting back and casting spells, no, they're going to jump right into things and take out your opponents. Now you might actually know that I've got a previous Adeliz deck from a long time ago. I'm talking about 2.5 years ago. That one was actually focused on combos and not on aggressive wizards. And on top of that, there have been plenty of exciting and powerful wizards that have come out since then. So today's deck tech is going to be going in a completely different direction and showing off some of the latest and greatest wizards. But before we get further on to the deck tech, a huge thank you to SyrProxy for making this amazing proxy of this commander. And actually, SyrProxy will be giving this proxy away to one lucky viewer. So to enter, simply like my giveaway tweet and make sure you're following at SyrProxy on Twitter and myself at EDH Quarters. The winner will be selected after 1 week from the launch of this video. Now, since our commander pumps our team whenever we cast an instant or sorcery spell, we're going to have a lot of low-to-the-ground spells in this deck like Opt, Expedite, and Slip Through Space. Cantrip spells like these are fantastic in this deck because they only cost 1 mana and they also replace themselves. So we've got Opt, which is an instant that lets us scry 1 and then draw a card. And then Expedite gives target creature haste until end of turn, and we can also draw a card. And then Slip Through Space makes target creature unblockable until the end of the turn, and we draw a card. Again, on top of pumping our entire team of wizards, these can each be helpful in their own way. And speaking of pumping our entire team, we've got things like Crash Through and Dynacharge. Though it's just at sorcery speed, Crash Through is a fantastic cantrip in this deck. For a red, it says, creatures you control gain trample until end of turn, draw a card. So again, like our other cantrips, this replaces itself, but it also gives all of our creatures trample until end of turn. Now, normally a deck full of wizards wouldn't care about that, but this deck definitely does. The more and more that we pump our wizards, the more damage that we're going to be getting through with this. And speaking of damage, Dynacharge is an instant for a red that says target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn, but it's got an overload cost of 2 and a red. So if we just cast this without overloading it, we're going to be pumping 1 creature +3/+1 and the rest of our team +1/+1. But if we've got the extra mana and we overload it, our creatures are going to get pumped +3/+1. At instant speed, this can be a fantastic combat trick that can really take an opponent by surprise. Next up though, let's talk about some of this deck's heavy hitters, starting off with Spellweaver Eternal, Aven Wind Mage, and Stormchaser Mage. Our commander already pumps wizards, but these wizards actually get pumped by themselves. For example, Spellweaver Eternal is a 2/1 zombie Naga wizard that costs 1 and a blue, and it's got prowess and Afflict 2. Now Afflict 2 is nice, it basically means that whenever this creature becomes blocked, the defending player loses 2 life. And they're probably going to have to block it and lose one of their creatures because of that prowess. Prowess means whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So with our commander in play, essentially when we cast an instant or sorcery, this is going to get pumped by 2. Again, we've got a lot of cheap spells in this deck, so we can easily cast multiple spells in a turn. So this can become a heavy hitter in absolutely no time. And then Aven Wind Mage is another heavy hitter that can more easily get through because it has flying. It starts off as just a 2/2, but it has whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And then Stormchaser Mage is even more effective, a 1/3 with flying, haste, and prowess. So it can get this on the field for just blue-red, and then it can hit hard right away with just a few spells. But some creatures that can hit even harder in this deck are We Dreadnoughts and Umara Mystic. We Dreadnoughts is a 1/3 flyer that has, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, We Dreadnoughts gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Again, flying is usually enough to get through on most opponents. So again, with our commander in play, every time we cast an instant or sorcery, this is going to get +3/+1. That can add up really quickly and help us take opponents out in no time. And in this deck, Umar Mystic is even more effective, a 1/3 flyer that says whenever you cast an instant sorcery or wizard spell, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So on top of counting all those instants and sorceries we're going to be casting, it also counts wizards. And yeah, with a wizard tribal deck, we're going to be casting plenty of those. But we also have a wizard that can be incredibly effective at helping get our entire team through with Archetype of Imagination. It's a 3/2 human wizard for 4 blue, and it says creatures you control have flying, creatures your opponents control lose flying, and can't have or gain flying. So yeah, this is essentially unblockability for our entire team. Okay, yes, technically creatures with reach can still block them. But come on, there aren't a ton of reach creatures out there that see a lot of play in Commander. Anyways, essentially making our entire team unblockable can help us get all of our damage through when we pump all of our wizards. So once we're set up, this card can be absolutely game-ending. Now with this deck, another avenue to victory is to make tokens, and for example, we've even got a spell that can actually make wizard tokens. Goblin Wizardry is an instant for 3 and a red, and says create 2 1/1 red Goblin Wizard creature tokens with prowess. So at instant speed, this can pump out 2 heavy-hitting prowess Goblin Wizards. But we also have some wizards that can make tokens as well, though unfortunately they're not making wizard tokens. Murmuring Mystic is a 1/5 human wizard that costs 3 and a blue, and it says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 blue bird illusion creature token with flying. And then Talrun is a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard for 2 blue that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, make a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. So although our commander won't pump these, it still can be incredibly effective to make a giant army of birds and drakes. With the amount of instants and sorceries we're going to be casting with this deck, we can flood the board in absolutely no time. But now let's talk about some wizards that have some great utility for this deck, starting off with Stony Brook Banneret and Goblin Electromancer. Stony Brook Banneret is a 1/1 Merfolk Wizard with Island Walk that says Merfolk spells and wizard spells you play cost 1 less to play. A discount on our wizard spells can really save us a lot of mana throughout the game. And then Goblin Electromancer is a 2/2 Goblin Wizard that says instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. A cost reduction for instants and sorceries in this deck can be huge. Each of these wizards can help us get more and more creatures out and pump our entire team faster. And then we've got some wizards that can help us with card advantage and card selection like Burning Prophet. Burning Prophet is a 1/3 human wizard that says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Burning Prophet gets +1/+0 until end of turn, then scry 1. So she can get bigger and bigger with the more spells that we cast, and she can also help get dead cards off the top of our library. And then Windrider Wizard is a 2/2 human wizard with flying that says whenever you cast an instant sorcery or wizard spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So again, this is fantastic at helping us with card selection, can even help us ditch dead cards in our hand. And then Jorien is a 2/3 Merfolk Wizard that says whenever you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card. 2 spells in a turn is incredibly easy for this deck to meet, so yeah, this is just basically card draw throughout the game for us. We also have some wizards with some ETBs that can help as well with Cloudkin Seer, Archaeomancer, and Cyclone Summoner. Cloudkin Seer is a very straightforward creature, a 2/1 flyer, and when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. In a wizard tribal deck, that's just good value. And then Archaeomancer can help us get a spell back, a 1/2 human wizard, and when it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. But then there's Cyclone Summoner, which definitely has the most powerful ETB in this deck. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, return all permanents to their owner's hands except for giants, wizards, and lands. So yeah, this 7/7 giant wizard for 5 blue does a ton when we pay that cost. Unless our opponents are playing Giant Tribal, Wizard Tribal, or Giant Wizard Tribal, this is a one-sided board wipe. And of course, we've got some legendary wizards that can really help us out. Let's start off with Naban, Dean of Iteration. Naban is a 2/1 human wizard that says if a wizard entering the battlefield under your control causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So this can double up a lot of our effective wizard ETBs. And then we've got 3 other legends that help out in different ways with Kaza, Agar, and Azami. Kaza Royal Chaser is a 1/2 human wizard with flying and haste. It has tap the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less to cast for X of the number of wizards you control as this ability resolves. So this to make one of our instant or sorcery spells a lot cheaper to cast in that turn. And then Agar the Freezing Flame is a 3/3 giant wizard for 1 blue-red, and it says whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, if a giant wizard or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. With the amount that we can pump our wizards, there's going to be a lot of excess damage going around. So in a single turn, this can draw us an absurd amount of cards. And speaking of drawing an absurd amount of cards, there's Azami Lady of Scrolls, a 0/2 human wizard for 2 blue. She has tap it on tap wizard you control, draw a card. So if we need to draw a ton of cards, we can utilize our wizard army to do so. But there is one legend and one card that stands above the rest, in my opinion. And that would be the golden pig of this deck, which is the number 1 card out of our 99, and that would be Krark the Thumbless. Krark the Thumbless is a 2/2 goblin wizard for 1 and a red. He has, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, return that spell to its owner's hand. If you win the flip, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So in this deck, whenever we win or lose this flip, we benefit. Again, we are running a ton of cantrips in this deck. So we can cast one of them for just 1 mana, and then we see what happens. If we lose the flip, no big deal, it goes right back to our hand. Even though the spell didn't resolve when we cast it, our commander pumped our team. If we win the flip, our commander pumps our team and we get 2 copies of the spell. And again, if that's a cantrip, we essentially gain card advantage instead of just replacing the card. This can make each of our instants and sorceries in this deck even more effective. We can pump our team further and get twice the value out of our cards. For just 1 in a red, Krark the Thumbless can provide an absurd amount of value in this deck, and that's why it's the golden pig. If you're looking to play this deck, consider joining the amazing PlayEDH Discord. It's a great way to play Commander over webcam. In the description below, you'll find their Discord invite link, as well as the tier that this deck has been approved at next to the deck list. So if you want to pick it up and play it as is, you can, and be sure to read their welcome information for more details. And with that, the show has come to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know your thoughts on this episode are, and as always, thanks again and have a good one.